Hey, what's up everyone? So today we're getting a little bit of a late start. It is 12:30 at the moment, but better late than never. Yesterday I spent the majority of my day with my girlfriend because she really wanted to see me, and frankly, I wanted to see her too. We haven't seen each other in about a week, and honestly, we just wanted to spend some quality time together. So I kind of put the 100 Signs campaign on the back burner, but it's okay because today we're back in business, and I don't have to go to work for several hours. So in the time being, I'm gonna show you guys what I've been working on. Here's what I've been working on. Check that out. Two pamphlets. Your boss is stealing from you, and do you believe in democracy? So some of y'all were giving me some advice that I would include some links in these, and so I decided to take that advice. I've decided that I'm going to do a brief, few paragraphs explaining my case, explaining the dynamic between wage labor and capital, giving a basic introduction to socialism, and talking about democracy over here, because Americans love freedom, they love democracy, and I'm here to explain how we could achieve a true democracy within the context of socialism. So I gave a link to some of the socialist orgs in my area, Socialist Alternative, DSA, PSL, my org, because it would be nice to have some people to actually go out and do demonstrations with for once, rather than just going by myself. So yeah, I got 2 pages here. I might make a third one, but I am taking your guys' advice, and I am starting to include and accommodate your advice into my leaflets. So yeah, no, I am going to be referencing my channel. I do reference my channel. I tell people to Google my shit and Google my YouTube channel, so they'll come and they'll find me. I really ought to include other channels in there, but for now, I'll just do me. So yeah, we are going out and we are going to be heading up the library. I'm going to be printing off about 30 or 40 of these sheets, and then I'm going to be driving around, and I'm going to be finding bulletin boards in various places, and I'm going to be posting these up. You hear that? I'm going to be posting these up, and you guys are going to come with me. And even though we got a late start to the day, I hope you guys have a great day. And with that being said, let us go ahead and get to cracking. Got a lot of work to do. Alright, so today I'm driving around in the old rice burner. This little car I have right here, I've had for the last several years. It's nice, reliable Toyota Corolla. Its frame's starting to break down a bit, and there's a hole in the muffler, which is why you can hear the roar of the engine. But beyond that, it's a nice, reliable car. It's pretty fuel efficient. I've done pretty much all my own maintenance on it, so it's lasted me. And it's taking care of me, and I figure why not? You take care of your vehicle, your vehicle will take care of you. Seeing as that there's like no public transportation in the United States, you pretty much have to drive around with the car. I don't know about you guys that are living in Europe, you probably have mass public transit of some kind, or you don't have to drive the same long distances that I do, but consider yourself lucky in that regard. So I'm on the way to the library. I scrounged around my room for some change, and yeah, I'm gonna print off these leaflets, and I'm gonna look for some bulletin boards to put it on. So, something that I really want to stress right now while I'm driving is I really want you guys to take pictures of your leaflets, take pictures of the signs that you put up in your neighborhoods and your areas, and send them to me. Send them to me because I want to turn it into one big collage at the very end of this project. I want to show everyone, all the subs, who's participated, who's collaborating, and I want everyone to see like what we can achieve when we come together. All right, so yeah, send me pictures of your signs, please. You can hit me up through Discord. I'll make sure to include the link below after I'm done compiling this video. And yeah, I'm gonna make that nice, sweet collage, and it's gonna be pretty freaking awesome. Alright, so a lot of topics are on my mind right now. One of them being like how breathtakingly shitty my job has been lately. So I work second shift at FedEx, as some of you are aware, and last night we took a record number of ICs at my job, or what are known as incompatibles. These are the boxes that are too big or they're too heavy to be taken up into the conveyors, up into the overhead, into the crow's nest. There's this part of my building called the crow's nest. Really, only about 30% of the ground site is actually on the floor where people are walking around. But if you go up in the stairs, there's this region upstairs where there's like conveyor belts and boxes flying at high speeds, 10, 20 miles an hour in all sorts of directions. It's so hard to describe, but it's a magnificent, magnificent, beautiful process. It's fun to look at and watch, and it's fun to be up there too. It feels like a level in a video game, but anyways, some boxes are too heavy to go up there and be delivered to different parts of the warehouse. So we have what are called IC belts, or incompatible belts, where we put a lot of the furniture, the tires, and just different products on these big, wide belts where they are taken to the different outbound regions of the building. Well, I was picking the belt last night, and our area, our part of the dock, took a record number of incompatibles last night. I'm talking roughly 2,000 boxes, 2,000 pieces of furniture, carpets, tires, and I mean like big tractor tires. I mean mufflers, heavy car parts, anvils, depleted uranium deposits, pet rock collections, pianos, giant pieces of glass, pretty much anything heavy that you can possibly think of. I was basically moving around and about. And it was such a pain in the ass, and I'm like, man, normally we get surge pay during the holidays because of how busy it is. We get a few more dollars on the hour, but I was thinking, like, why aren't we getting surge pay right now? I'm working harder now than I ever have at this job in my life. Why the hell am I not getting surge pay right now? And it frustrated the hell out of me, especially because last week we got chewed out by our bosses for not being productive enough as workers or stealing time or whatever. And I'm like, okay, so you're paying us less, working us harder, and now you're gonna sit here and tell us that we're not doing enough? You know, go fuck yourself, dude. Go suck a dick, like seriously. These people here are busting their asses. There are people in that warehouse that are some of the hardest workers that I've ever seen in my life. I'm talking single mothers who weigh half as much as I do. Like, literally, like, single moms weigh 100 pounds, 110 pounds, like a full foot shorter than me. And she's throwing these Chewy boxes around and about. These heavy-ass Chewy boxes that weigh like 50 to 100 pounds. Some of these boxes get like a really heavy, you know. And I don't mind picking up and moving around 100-pound boxes. It's the doing it for like 6 to 8 hours straight, 10,000 boxes per night part that makes it exhausting and very grueling. So yeah, it's not moving some 50 to 100-pound boxes. It's moving 50 to 100-pound boxes all night long. So I pretty much wake up sore every day, just about. And I mean, I'm a sucker for punishment, so I lift weights and I exercise on top of that. But otherwise, yeah, there are some hard-working people in that warehouse. There's a lot of hard-working people there, and I see a lot of potential for some organization. But yeah, no, like, it'd be cool if I could organize a general strike or something along those lines, because we deserve better benefits and we deserve better pay for the kind of work that we're doing. It's like it's like the kind of situation of, oh, Pharaoh let my people go in this bitch, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to see what I can organize in my own workplace. I suggest you guys do the same. Look for abuses that are going on within your workplace and see what you can agitate around. I'm going to see what I can agitate around if I don't end up getting this job at the sanitation district as a mechanical maintenance tech. Because that's what I'm trying to do right now. I'm trying to find another job because I'm getting really sick and tired of dealing with FedEx's bullshit. But otherwise, assuming I don't get a job at the sanitation district, I'm gonna go ahead and just say fuck it, I have nothing left to lose, and try and organize some labor actions at the warehouse where I work. So there are many directions the future can head. I'm not a fortune teller, so we'll see. All right, we shall see. All right, so we got an interesting turn of good luck. So these right here actually cost me nothing. Normally, it costs like 10 cents a page up at the library to print these off, but since they don't want to accept anybody's change because of the pandemic, they are on the house. So I've got about 14 pieces of propaganda here. All that's left to do is distribute them. So I'm going to hit up some grocery stores, hit up some bulletin notices and notice boards. So I'm going to hit up some grocery stores, I'm going to hit up some bulletin boards, some notice boards, and I'm going to, well, tape them to the walls. So yeah, that's the plan. It's going to be freaking awesome. Alright, so I tried to post a couple leaflets up at Kroger, but they had the bulletin board locked off. So I went to the manager and tried to ask, and he wanted to look at them first, so I showed him, and he's just like, no. And I'm like, well, go fucking figure. It doesn't really surprise me, but it's okay because there's plenty of parks, corners, nooks, and crannies to where I can tape these to and distribute this literature. I'm gonna hit up this general area, and then I was probably gonna go downtown and distribute some more, and then I'm probably gonna go home and, well, probably work out. So that is the general plan at the moment. So I'm kind of counting on the Scotch tape to not really hold up that much. So it wouldn't surprise me if a big 40, 50, 60 mile gust of wind came through here and just blasted this off the table. But otherwise, it should still hold up for at least a couple days. I've got the other propaganda over here, and it's taped pretty well over here, and it's taped somewhat well over there. So, I mean, this is good enough for jazz for now. For now, I'm going to walk around some more and see if I can find some more spots to place propaganda up here at the park, as well as like the surrounding region. I want to get at least a few of these leaflets posted. The problem is that this is why I was talking about in the very first day of this, why you want to get yourself some duct tape instead of some Scotch tape, because Scotch tape does not bind very well. It really doesn't. You really want to get yourself some duct tape if you're looking for some long-term placement of any sort of propaganda, but I mean, it is what it is. Moving on. Alright, so I realized I made a couple mistakes. I taped some of these leaflets on dumpsters by some apartment complexes, but I forgot to take some pictures and film it. No worries. We're heading downtown now. We're going to a similar area that we were last time. Not so much a mid-income area, but more down by the projects. So just going downtown for a little bit, and I'm gonna look for some more places to stuff some of these leaflets, and then I'm gonna head home and call it a day. And then tomorrow I'm gonna see if I can get some friends to turn out to put some more of those signs up, and then from there, the day after that, make some more leaflets and some more signs. So this is one of those cases of do as I say, not as I do. If you can put up more than like 40 or 50 signs, by all means, but that's probably what I'm gonna end up putting up in the end. So far, I'm at like 5 leaflets and 7 signs. So there's no shame if you don't really get that many signs up. It's not really that big of a deal. Just do the best you can, do what you can, get them in areas where they're not likely to get taken down or blown away by the elements. And yeah, just do the best you can. And remember, send those pictures to me. I want those pictures. I want to make that collage. See that wall on the road right there? Well, there was a time, if you go back sometime a few decades ago, that this was actually a hot spot where buses would come by, trolleys would come by and pick people up and take them downtown, because there used to be a lot of apartments and buildings up there where people would come down here and they would walk down some steps, like you can see some right there, and they would come take the bus downtown. But since then, a lot of these old areas where people used to walk down, a lot of that public transit is gone, and it got filled up with cement, and it just got turned into one big ugly looking wall. And this is really what I'm talking about here, but there's like a general lack of public transit in this country. Like, it's just one massive highway, and if you look around and about, you can see this for yourself. Just about everyone here is driving in a car by themselves. If you look in the windows of any of these people, you'll see it's only one person in the vehicle. 90% of people who drive automobiles are likely driving by themselves, and they commute an average of about 20 minutes. And an essay that me and my friend were writing when we started my channel was all about public transit and how inefficient it is, and how our infrastructure does no service to people who are trying to get around on foot. Because our transportation infrastructure, as it stands here in the United States, is pretty much completely designed to accommodate the automobile. So in order to get around, you need a car. And everyone needs a car, and it's just one big, massive It's one big massive fucking scam if you think about it, because they're taking what should be a public utility and they transformed it into a private service. So now we're all stuck in these traffic jams. Now we spend an average of like $10,000 to $20,000 per year on maintenance, auto insurance, as well as car payments and so on, when we could be spending a fraction of that money if we just had like a trolley or a train or some public transit system, and we could get a bunch of people off the roads, and we could circumvent a bunch of traffic jams at the same time. It's very crazy. Ooh, there's a big apartment complex on the hill over there. But yeah, it's just crazy. Like, people don't even think about this. People just accept it, well, that's just the way it is. It's the way it is until the political will is mustered to change that. And that's really what it comes down to. A lot of stuff in this country could be made a lot more efficient or better. People don't realize it, but it really could. It's about mustering the numbers, and it's about mustering the political will and the political capital to do so. Alright, well, while I was downtown, somebody gave me a phone call, and we had a good long conversation while I was downtown, and I was recording while they gave me the phone call, so I had to hang up the recording, so I couldn't get any recording of me putting up any leaflets while I was downtown. But rest assured, I did get some leaflets downtown. You have my word on that. Now, something I did want to talk about before I close this video is the BLM protests, because it's something I was talking about with this person while I was downtown with them. We were talking about a variety of topics, and mainly I was just expressing my disappointment, my general disappointment with how the BLM protests went. The BLM protests were a golden opportunity for us to really do something great or achieve some sort of reform of some kind, but instead we just got a Democrat elected. That's all that happened. We got some Democrats elected, and that's it. But beyond that, nothing really came of them. They just sort of were spontaneous, and then they fizzled out. We didn't see the rise of any sort of organic workers' movements or workers' demands. There were no concrete demands. And this is ultimately the consequences of tailism. I think tailism is a big issue. It's people showing up to these protests, but, I mean, part of it is just, as my friend was saying, I was talking to Socialism for All, by the way. Me and Socialism for All were talking, and he was telling me, like, his stance is because there's simply not enough people on the hard left. And I get where he's coming from. There really aren't a lot of us out there yet. There aren't a lot of people on the hard left. He does have a point, but I also kind of blame the hard left to an extent for it, because, I mean, how many people do you really need? Like, I mean, how many people is enough? Like, how big does your org have to be before you can get some sort of agitation or organizing done? And the other thing that kind of frustrates me about it is people were all up in arms about the death of George Floyd. And yeah, it was an absolute tragedy, all right? The death of George Floyd is an absolute tragedy, and we have every right to be angry. To me, it just seems like people were lashing out more than that. They were just using the death of Floyd as provocation to cathartically lash out their frustrations at the current system. A system that's abandoned them and left them in the dust. Because that's largely what it did. Last year, shut up, dog. My dog's outside, or inside barking, but I'm gonna get up. Yeah, but as I was saying, it was largely a reaction to a system that has largely abandoned the people and abandoned their But yeah, as I was saying, it was largely a reaction by people against a system that's completely abandoned them and has left them alienated and isolated, and ultimately doesn't respond to them or respect them or their will. I mean, this is another thing me and S4A were getting into. Everybody wants a union, everybody wants healthcare, but nobody's willing to get up in arms and fight and actually do the things necessary in order to get it. And a lot of it just comes down to people just being demoralized, you know. People are too demoralized to fight. They're too demoralized to want to do anything about it because they see how our political structure operates. They see nobody represents them. It's completely abandoned them. They saw the failure of Bernie Sanders. So in response to that, that people are just hopeless right now. And I think that's a big issue. There's a lot of hopelessness. There's a lot of capitalist realism. There's a lot of just general doomerism sentiments going around right now. And now we've entered the return to normal. The return to normal. Yeah, the economy's recovered, but we're still floating at 5% more unemployment than before the crisis ever happened in the first place. There's been some permanent damage to the economy as a result of the COVID-19 crisis. And yeah, the working class got hosed. From the bottom up, wealth was once again redistributed. And I think that's going to keep happening. I think in lieu of these stimuluses, in lieu of them, in the presence of these crises, wealth's just going to keep distributing from the bottom to the top because they keep using the magic money trick to bail out the mega corporations and so on. And that's ultimately all they can do now. That's all they can do at this point. It's what they do, it's all they do. So, yeah, I mean, it's just kind of a sentiment that I wanted to express. I really wish the BLM protests would have gone further. I wish they would have evolved into some workers' Soviets or some unions or organizations or tenants unions or something beyond just people going out and smashing stuff, all right? I'm not opposed to doing some smashing, all right? I'm not opposed to the smash or the bash, but I would like there to be some direction to that smash and bash, So, this isn't going to be the last time we have a spontaneous uprising like this. I think that's going to become more common just as the fabric of society slowly begins to unravel around us, because the system is just getting deeper and deeper, and the contradictions are just becoming ever more sharp. So, I think we have that going for us, but I also think that this is a more opportune time than ever for people to lead by example and show that, you can go out there and you can make a difference. I think what can really break people's loss of morale and snap people out of the demoralization and just general hopelessness felt by a lot of people is one major victory. If labor got one major victory or concession in this country, I think that's all it would take to really see the uprising or the spontaneous emergence of class consciousness and the emergence of a new labor movement. When people see that it is in fact possible to fight and win, then people are going to start fighting so they can start winning some more. So, yeah, but first we got to get that major victory. So, this is what I'm trying to do right now, is lead by example, and that's why I'm beckoning you guys to follow my lead. Let's get these signs out there and let's get some work done, some good work done. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and kill it now. Y'all have a nice day. Peace out and red salute.